Hi everyone, welcome to our Sunday fun and frolics. Today we're kind of carrying on a little bit where we left off yesterday with the die cuts and colouring die cuts and trying to make the most out of our investment in the die cuts in the first place, because they're not the cheapest things. So yesterday, quick recap for those of you that couldn't join or whatever, we discovered that you can use dies, the dies that you've got, to make stencils out of this stuff called mylar. And this particular mylar that we use is 125 microns. That's kind of the thickness of it. It's a universal measurement, I think, both in the US and here. I'm not sure about Australia, but we call it 125 microns, and it goes through the big shot, no problem at all, and it cuts you out this stencil. Now beware, some of the dies won't give you such a good stencil because they've got bits cut out of them, and obviously they'll just drop out. You're just left with the outline, but this daisy, it's perfect. And then you're also left with what they call a mask, which is this part. And you can put that down on your paper and just paint over the edges. And when you remove it, you're left with a void where your mask is. So you get both of those for the, the investment in your mylar. But I think it's a good way to use your dies, really. I think you get a lot of use out of those. I certainly will. And the other things that we did yesterday was just coloured some die cuts, made some different backgrounds to attach them to. That one turned out quite pretty, I think. Quite like that one. And then we made this one, which I finished off just after we finished the live. Just put some black around the outside and a yellow ribbon. And I like that one, it's really pretty. I could see me placing that in a journal somewhere. And then I've been messing around this morning trying to get some things sorted. I made this one, which is, it's okay. It's not as sort of scroll stopping as this one, but I quite like it, and I could see me using it in a journal. So today, as I say, it's kind of more of the same, but different. So, how are we all doing? Let's have a roll call.
Roll call. Let me have a look. Hilda.
Hi, Hilda.
Ros.
Hi, Ros.
Donna.
Hello, Donna.
Cindy.
Hi, Cindy.
Cindy Phillips.
Yeah, we've had Cindy before. Hello, Cindy.
Flo.
Hi, Flo.
Jen.
Lynn
Whitman.
Hello, Lynn.
Kerry Betts.
Oh, Kerry, welcome. Kerry, while I've got you, these are the little bottles that Lynn Whitman gifted me. They came from Amazon, but they have, there's all different sorts of colour. Can you reach them, that pack? Do we put them away?
Are they? The
right, okay. They come, there's all different coloured nozzles, which for me is really handy because I keep my Fabri-Tac in this one, because Fabri-Tac, yeah. Thank you, they're alive. Because Fabri-Tac comes with a red lid, so I'll put my Fabri-Tac in the one with the red lid, and this is my Aleene's that I use, the Aleene's tacky glue that I've got in here. But there's also black, blue, orange, and they all come with these little silicone things attached to them, so they're very stretchy and they fit on really easily, unlike trying to get a pin down the top of the other ones. So they're really useful, and they are actually much bigger than the ones that I had before, so you can get much more in them. So I hope that helps, Kerry.
Deborah.
Hello, Deborah.
Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
Janet Ann.
Hi, Jan.
Mabel.
Hello, Mabel.
Jean.
Hello, Jean.
Maureen. Did I say Maureen?
No, hello, Maureen.
Samantha C.
Hi, Samantha.
Diane Johnson.
Hello, Diane. Nice to see you.
Pauline Charlesworth.
Hello, Pauline. Welcome along. Pauline joined our group yesterday because she'd caught part of our live, yesterday's live, and presumably liked what she saw, and she's joined our group, our Miss Paintalot's Junk Journal group. So huge welcome to you, Pauline. I hope you enjoyed today every bit as much as yesterday. Nice to have you with us.
And Kerry says she bought a big shot today.
Kerry! Yeah! Fabulous. Let's see what we can do with it then during the course of today. Now, I need to say some things. Firstly, a lot of you were trying to private message me both last night and this morning, and I'm really sorry if your messages have gone unanswered. I'm generally quite tired by the time I've finished a live, and so I just kind of set my phone on one side and don't really look at it. And this morning I have been scurrying around like a mad thing trying to get the content put together for this afternoon, because I know it doesn't look like it's organised in any way, but it kind of is a little bit. So I need to have some things organised. So I'm sorry if you've messaged me and it's gone apparently unnoticed. My apologies for that. One of the things, however, that we were discussing on the group last night was using watercolour metallic paints. This is my set. It's Coliro, handmade in Germany by Finitech. And it's a really nice set of watercolour. And these, they don't look it, but these are the colours that they are. All sorts of different. Even the camera doesn't pick them up. These two look the same, and one's gold and one's silver. And I was discussing this with Mabel because she was saying, you know, some shimmery flowers would look nice. And yeah, you are so right, Mabel. I couldn't agree more. It's most unlike me not to include something shimmery, glittery, whatever. Talking of that, is Jen in? No Jen. Hi, Leslie. Hi, Kerry. Hi, Helen. Hi, Lynn. I think I've said hello to Lynn. The problem is the camera doesn't pick them up very well. So although I would love to use them, I steer clear of them if I can during lives because the camera just doesn't pick them up. So that's kind of that. Having said that, however, this morning during my playtime, I did this, and I don't know if the camera is picking that up.
I'm trying to do something else, right?
Or not.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, can you see that sort of glimmer there? That was using the watercolour with the silver, and I used the Daisy, this stencil, and just went through with a brush with watercolour. And I really wasn't expecting a very good result. I thought it would seep underneath it, etc. But actually I've got quite a nice result. And this has resulted in quite a nice journaling card, I think. And it's a stroke of luck more than anything, because this is the bit of tissue paper that I've got here, and it just sets it off really nicely. And the only thing that I could think that would possibly make that look more complete is if I used a distress crayon around the edge, maybe just even two edges. So I'm going to give that a little try now and see what happens. This would be a journaling card, definitely. I can't take the corners off and make it into a tag without losing some of this, and I'm not prepared to do that. So I've got a silver distress crayon that were gifted to the channel. Thank you very much. So I'm just going to put a little bit down here, a bit more in this corner here, along there. Let's just rub that in with our fingers. Well, my finger, I am aware that you're not rubbing it in. So there we go, I've got a little bit of silver around there now. And that is glinting just a little bit. So I like that card, it's nice. I would definitely use that. I really would. So let's put those away just now, and let's have a look where we got up to yesterday. We had made this sheet of paper, piece of A4, 160 grams. All of the papers that go in my journals are 160 grams, unless the only thing that I do different is if I'm actually making a little notebook to go inside the journal, I make that out of 90 GSM paper, coffee stain paper. But everything else is 160. I think it's crisper. The stuff that we buy is specifically made to give a good result for printing on. So you get good colours, you get true colours. And even when I'm printing on my A3, I still use the same paper. It's called Ray, R-E-Y, and we buy it from Paper Mill Direct here in the UK. In fact, they're not a million miles away from us. They're in the Lake District. And I would go and visit them and say, have you got a factory shop? But in these days of COVID, I rather think that they might not be too keen to see me. So that's where it's called 160 GSM, and it's called Ray, R-E-Y, if you're interested in doing the same, using the same paper that I use. I think if you've been using 90 GSM, you'll notice a real difference. It doesn't buckle, it holds a crease well. You know, I like it, that's why I use it. So what we did yesterday was we used our Tim Holtz Ideology collage paper, the one with the flowers on it, and it's black and white. We gessoed the page first. We then stuck our decoupage down after tearing the edges off to give a nice torn edge look, and then gessoed over the top of it to stick it down, wiped parts of it back with a baby wipe. So we've ended up with this result, which is very nice. There's quite a lot of texture on there. I think you can see it there, yeah. But I'd like to add some more if I can. Now I've got this stamp which is brilliant for texture. Thank you, Hilda. And I'm just going to use Stays On, because I don't want the ink moving. I've also got Distress ink in black soot, but if I use that and then I put some wet medium over the top, this will move. It's not permanent. Whereas the Stays On, once it's dry, you won't shift it, which is what we're after. I'm not sure I'm going to put anything else wet over the top, but I want to have that choice.
Leslie M's joined us.
Hi, Leslie.
And Pat Rutherford.
Hello, Pat. Talking of Pat, different Pat Fleet. Let me tell you what Pat has done. She has made herself the most beautiful sort of file folder, really, with lots of tuck spots, pockets and everything in it. It's a beautiful thing, really is. Made with care, a lovely thing. And what she's done is she's filled it up with ephemera, you know, journaling cards, tags, etc. And she's posted it off to someone. Now, I don't know who that someone is. Only Pat knows who that someone is. But one day next week, I presume, and it's only within the UK, this. One day next week, someone will have that arrive on their doorstep. This beautiful filled ephemera folder. And the idea is that you take out all the ephemera that Pat's put in it, and that's yours. You get to keep all of that goodness. And what we'd like you to do is fill the ephemera folder back up again with stuff that you've got. I mean, I know I've got journaling cards and tags coming out of my ears. So, you know, I'm going to, when it comes to my turn, hopefully, I'll fill it back up and I'll send it back on. And there's all that we ask is, when you get it, can you just say on the group, on the Miss Paintalot Junk Journal group, that you've received it and that you're going to send it on, but don't say who you're going to send it on to. If you don't want to send it on, you don't want to play the game, please, there's an address in there to send it back to. Send it back to Pat, and she'll send it off again to someone else. If there's anybody in the US that feels that they could make the ephemera folder to start off with, that would be excellent. I don't want to ask one specific person, because I feel that they would think they had to do it, and it shouldn't be like that at all. So if you feel that you're able to make the ephemera folder and fill it up first for its first trip, please would you contact me. I'd be most grateful. It would be excellent. But we don't want to have international postage on this, because it's really prohibitive. It's just so expensive, and it makes a good deed, you know, a nice kind deed, turn out to be quite expensive, really. So we don't want to do that. So, yeah, one day next week, somebody will be receiving that. Lucky them. But let us know on the group when you do receive it. And as I say, if you feel you're in the US and that you could start the ball rolling with that, that would be fabulous. Thank you. So, yeah, back to this. I'm using Stays on this texture stamp here, because I'm just going to try and build up some additional texture to this. And it doesn't matter whether you get all of the stamp, part of the stamp, doesn't really matter. A text stamp would have been good, but I didn't get one out. Mr. F, is there a text stamp in the drawer where the stamps are, do you think? There might not be.
I shall have a peruse.
So I'm just sort of going over where the decoupage was and slightly further over. Just sort of extending that.
Would it be a mounted one?
It's a mounted one, I think. It's quite big and square. I might have it here, I'll have a look. Let's put the lid on my stays on. No.
A postcard or a flower?
No.
No. That was a very firm no.
It wasn't meant to be.
Do what I asked for. Yeah.
That's the fella. Thank you. So this is a text stamp. I don't know where it came from. It's stuck like Billy onto that acetate block. Thank you. And that'll do the job nicely. But I don't want to ink all of it up because I'm going to end up with just a block of text. So I'm only going to ink up partly. Wherever the ink hits is fine. The background is so textured that it's not picking it up anyway, really. I don't even know if this has an upside down or not. I can't even read the text. It's had so much ink on it over the years. That's probably the best way, I think.
I'll stick the ink to the stamp, maybe.
Yeah, I'm nearly there. I think the problem is the texture of this gesso.
Yeah. It's slightly darker in real life than it is on the camera.
Is it not showing up very well?
I'll see if I can turn the lighting down. Let's have a look.
So these are the little ones that Mr. F found. Let's have a go with them. They might be a bit more flexible.
I think that's coming through a bit better now.
Yeah, look, that's lovely.
Even if your hands have changed colour.
So just building up layers of nice, interesting things. Anywhere where you can see a gap is fair game. Having said that, you know, you want a bit of randomness. So I think that's probably fine. Right. So the next thing I'm going to do is splatter it. Could I possibly give you those to put away? Because otherwise you know that they're never going to. Please. Thank you. So I have cleaned my palette out, nearly, but it's better than it was yesterday. And I'm going to add some black. Now, a lot of people use the black soot and they make a sort of ink with it. Personally, I think the best way of doing it is to add an ink. So these are this lovely set that Hilda bought me. It's so useful and so lovely, and I'm pretty sure there's a black in here. That looks black, I think. Of course, you don't have to be using black, just black and white. You can use any colour. You can put your dots in with a really vibrant pink or any colour. I'm going to use black because I'm kind of sticking with this theme. That way then in the future, most journals that I make could probably get some use of these. So Just going to add a little bit of ink. This is very, very pigmented and you really don't need a lot. I'll try that for starters. Make sure that whatever else you do, make sure you put the lid back on your ink, because if you spill it, you will be so regretful. So I'm just going to mix this into a sort of loose, lots of water in it. And I've got a little fan brush here, but really any brush, toothbrush, anything will do. And I'm just going to splatter this. And I want different sized dots if I can, so I need to be quick because the first ones off are the largest ones. And I want more down the centre. And you could also put white on as well. White would look nice. So that's that. Just more texture all the time. We're building up more texture. And I'm going to mop that up because that's pretty much finished with that. And like I say, it's so highly pigmented. Don't run the risk of spilling it, particularly if you're working on a carpet or something like that. Just please don't. So that looks to me like white. So let's just drop some white on there as well. Whites always need shaking. No matter what it is that you're using, white will always need shaking. And shake it until you can see bubbles in the bottom, which you're just starting to see now. That's it. There's the little balls inside doing their job. You hear them? So that's that. So we'll just take... Can't get in. Thank you.
So don't.
Okay, I was looking for another brush to... I'll try this one. What's the worst that's going to happen? It's going to end up grey. Oh. This doesn't want to come out very readily. I had a pipette in my hand this morning as well.
You want?
Yeah, please. And while you're there, could you just rinse out that water and that fan brush? Thanks. So,
And just come back.
yeah, please.
Is there a pipette up here? There's some in here.
I can't do much without the brush. Thank you. So let's just pick some up with that. Oop, loads and loads. Pipettes are useful things to have around if you're planning on doing mixed media or anything. I like them around because, as you know, I used to be a scientist, so I like having them around. So that's the white. Just wait for the fan brush to come back and we'll just do some splatters on here and then we'll dry it off. I'll just start drying that off now actually. Today I'm going to be using another dye, a different dye. So hold on to your purses, okay? Just don't go mad. Thank you. So in an ideal world, that would be bone dry. Excuse me. So let's see if we can splatter that neat. Not very well. I'm going to have to add some water to it. And I doubt this is going to show up very well, really. But take my word for it, it's there. It looks nice. And it is all adding depth. think I should use a completely different colour, Mr. F? Just to show it off. Something quite vibrant. Or not.
Like red.
I have got white, yellow, orange, magenta, red, purple, blue, green, brown and black.
I always think red.
Red.
Always goes well with red and white. Or black and white, should I say.
Red it is. Might live to regret this, guys. We'll just blame Mr. F. He gets blamed for everything else.
A bit like the girls' coat in Schindler's List.
Yeah.
Just one bit of colour. But don't get carried away.
I won't get carried away. I've already got white in that, so I'll just have to rinse that out a bit.
What's black and white and red all over? Sunburnt penguin.
Oh, talking of birds and stuff, the guy next door, our neighbour, seems to have invested in a, I don't know what you call them, herd of ducks. There's a load of ducks appeared. Bobby thinks it's highly amusing. I think it's quite amusing myself, I must be honest. Yeah. Can I give you that, please? Because I'm afraid everything's going to end up red. Thanks.
Have you finished with it?
Yeah, definitely. Right, let's splatter then. Oh yeah, that looks lovely. Oh, look at that. Right, if you're doing this, you might not want to do these colours. I do a lot of things on lives that I wouldn't ordinarily do for my own journal, just so you can see it. But I have to say I am liking this. Right, so that's that. It's got black and it's got red on. I've got red on. The desk's got red on. So let's get that dried off. Let's get me dried off first. I'm a bit multicoloured. So I'm going to dry this off, so Mr. F's going to have to entertain me, do a dance or something along those lines. Has everybody received their little golden books? Well, of course you don't know if you have, because you don't know if you were in the list to be sent one. If you've received your book, can you just say that you have, please? I think in crime scene, yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Puts her cheek.
Yeah. The morning of what the brand of inks.
It is Koh-i-Noor. I shall show you.
Koh-i-Noor. I hope you can see that, like.
KOH-I-N-O-O-R. Koh-i-Noor. I think we'll get him there.
Shall I say what's the golden book?
Explain, tell her.
Well, actually they're called Little Golden Books. I think they're prevalent in the States, aren't they?
I think so.
And they're like, I suppose in Britain it would be
Ladybird
books, penguin books, that sort of thing. It's just a particular brand of books that we construct in a set manner. We've sent some out to various people, selected at random in the UK, and Jen's sent some out to people in the States. and we're going to be running a Build Along with Mummy series of videos based around the little golden books.
I like being the mummy. Yeah, so that will be starting really pretty soon. So this piece of paper measures 8 1/4. So if I do 4 1/8, I should be cutting it in half. That's the theory. 4 1/8. Then we won't be wasting any. So there we are. Now I want to cut these kind of this way on, because I want this to be the bottom and this to be the top. Similarly, however, you could cut them that way on and you could have journaling cards. So what does that measure in total? It measures 11 1/2. So if I did 5 and a something. So let's do 5 5/8 for a laugh. And then see what we're left with. See if we've got 2 journaling cards. Yeah, I'd pretty much say so. I think they're okay. They would slip behind a tummy tuck or anything quite nicely. Quite nice. You'll need to back these. I had problems because I dried them on kitchen towel when I pulled some of the backing off. But you'd need to anyway. Well, for me, I wouldn't back those in coffee stained paper if they were going in my journal. These ones, I want them a little bit smaller. I want these to be tags, proper tags. So I'm going to cut these at 3 inches. I think it's still a little bit sticky there. So out of 1 sheet of paper, we're getting quite a lot of tags here. So there we are. This is what we've achieved out of 1 sheet. Aren't they nice? They're really, really nice. Lots of texture, lots of interest. So what are we going to add to them then to really finish them off? Well, I was thinking with our new, let's start on one of the journaling. We'll do 1 journaling card and 1 tag and see where we get to. So I was thinking with our newfound daisy stencil, I've got 2 silver. I've got a silver acrylic, but it's really rubbish. It's really thin. This is Fusion furniture paint, which is no longer available. They no longer do that, so I can't help you there. And this one, though, is still available. It's Deco Art Media Fluid Acrylics, and it's in silver. And that one I know they still do, so that one's fine. So I'm just going to put a little bit of the paint into my palette. I haven't used this for so long, it's all dried up. And there's not much in it either, so I've had it on its, ooh, hello. I've had it standing on its head for a while. Oh, fair enough. We've got rather a lot of silver. And I'm just going to use a sponge for this. I'm going to use one of these sponges. I'm hoping that one's clean. It's blue, but never mind. Might just get a blue hint to the silver. So I'm picking some silver up on my sponge, and you could use anything. You could use this sponge, any sort of sponge. And I'm charging my sponge, and then I'm just going to go over my stencil and hope that I get enough paint down so that it's visible on the camera. Careful not to put too much down in one go, because it'll go underneath the stencil and what they call bleed out, and that's not an attractive look. But for me, I do want to get enough down that you can actually see it.
Kerry says they have little golden books in Australia.
All right.
She
Oh,
still
great.
has hers and her children's.
Oh, lovely. So yeah, that's actually bled through quite badly, quite a lot actually. So maybe this isn't the right tool for the job. That's what I'm surmising. So I'm going to use this one now. See if we get on any better. It could have been just that I had too much paint on. I've got loads of paint on here as well.
Kerry Bet says it's 11:30 at night.
Gosh, Kerry. That one's slightly better than the first one. This one really bled through. But you can see the overall effect. And it's potentially quite pleasing, I think. So this one, our little journaling cards. Let me just wipe off what I can off that stencil.
Wash it.
Yeah, I think so. I don't want to wreck it at this stage. It's brand new. Sorry?
Cosmic shimmer will work as well, would it?
Cosmic shimmer. Yeah, I tried that earlier. Right, I am going to go for acrylic with this one. Let me see, red acrylic. Let's get some red acrylic out. And I'm being guided by the fact that we put the red ink on. So I want to try and pick that up if I can. So just a little bit of red acrylic on there. And I'm just going to use one of the things that we've used to cut out. This was the sheet of paper that we used to cut out. This was a stencil that I used before for the daisy, and as you can see, it worked quite well, really. So I'm just going to try this one on here and see if I can use the paper as a stencil instead of having to buy Mylar, and give it a go. I mean, it might work, it might not. Thing is, these weren't cut out to be stencils, so they're quite close together. So it's a bit awkward not going over into the next one.
Got a spare bit of Mylar if you
No, it's all right.
need me to.
No, I'm trying to show that you can just use what you've got. I've come to the end of the card, not quite.
It's my philosophy in life, use what you've got.
Yeah, use it. So yeah, I mean, that's really nice, isn't it? Very nice, actually. Just need something to go along with it. See, this is one of those ones I was telling you doesn't work so well because there's a central section in there that just drops out. I do, however, like this butterfly up here. So I might see if I can get that in.
Do you want me to cut it out?
There. No, it's all right. I think we're all right. Oh, I'm off the side of the card here anyway, so it's not going to be perfect. You couldn't put me some more of that red acrylic out, could you please?
Yep.
That's the thing about using a sponge to do anything. First thing you've got to do is feed the sponge. Thanks. Ah, that's just silly amount. Give you one job.
Or as normal people would say, thank you.
You won't be thanking me when I'm saying I need some more blinking paint. What about this top part of here? No, what about that one? No, that's quite a nice little one, isn't it? That one there. Let's try that one. And see what this looks like. Now, you know, bear in mind that instead of using red for the dots, you could have used any colour that took your fancy. And so now you could be doing your flowers in any colour that takes your fancy. Or should I say rather more, any colour that's going to fit in with your journal. So there we are. How about that? That looks lovely, I think. Two little flowers and a little butterfly. I think I'm going to call that a success, because I think that is a success. And then we're going to get on to building I'll give this to Mr. F because I think we've kind of finished. Well, I'll leave it just in case I decide to do red. I'm going to try and incorporate red now into something. Just going to wipe my hands. Yeah, so the little golden books, we are going to do a series on changing them from the format that they're in now. We're going to break them all apart, add some papers to them, and put the usual journaling things in, tags and pockets and whatever. I won't be altering the pages themselves. I think they're already far too nice to alter. But I will be adding pages to them, and those pages we will be altering. So that series will be starting very, very soon, if not during this week, actually, possibly. The other thing I've got to do to keep me busy is to make up the collaborative journal. And before I do that, what we intend to do is get all the pages out and do a video of 3 at a time. So there'll be 3 videoed, and that will be released, another 3 videoed, and I'll be going through them and I'll be describing everything that's in them and how glorious they all are, and they all are, so everybody can see what everybody else has sent in and what's going to go into the collaborative journal. And believe me, it is sensational. There's some fantastic work going into this journal, and one of the people that have collaborated will win it. You'll get it to keep for the rest of your life, and what a lovely thing it will be, I'm sure. And the other thing that I wanted to mention was, there's 3 things. Do you remember, Mr. F? There was Pat's ephemera folder, the little golden book, and the collaborative journal. That's it. We've done it. Great. Right, so yes, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to use for this build some black paper, because, well, 2 reasons. 1, I think it'll look quite nice, and 2, I think it'll show up better for you to see it. And we're going to build this. This is the die. It's Sizzix Thinlits 664377, 664377, and it's this one. And there's loads of bits to it, 12 in fact, 12 bits to this thing. I'll show it to you, that's it. And it builds this one and this smaller one. And I think that they would make possibly nice journal covers, but this would make a lovely journaling card. If you stick it down flat, there's no reason why that wouldn't make a really nice journaling card. And there's loads of little bits, and some you have to cut twice, and it's a bit of a faff, to be honest with you. Right, so I think I've got all the bits that I need here. Precariously balanced on this. And the first thing that we do, let me get my big picture of it so I can see. I'm going to build it the way Sizzix says to build it. Okay, I'm going to colour it and build it. Of course, there are loads of different ways that you could use this. Without the frame, etc., that's just a lovely corner piece, as is that. But I'm going to build it like this, hopefully, so it'll look like this, okay? That's the idea. So I need one of the large frames, 2 of the large frames, and a large coffin-shaped bit. I know it's a hexagon, it just reminds me of a coffin. So they get stuck on first. And these are so thin. I tell you, they're thinner than thin. So one gets put on at an angle. I'm going to move it over a bit because there's a bit of flowerage going on there. This is in case you've got this die, or you were thinking about buying this die and then thought, I just can't quite work out what goes on with that. And that goes, where does that go? It goes there. Is that right? No, it goes there. Yeah, there. It lines up with that bit there. So the first thing I need to do is stick them on. I'm going to keep them in white, I did have a go earlier myself, and I did them in black because I was doing them on white paper, and I thought that would look nice, which it did. But I think the black with the white die cuts is the best way of going on. So I just need some glue. So I'm sticking paper to paper. It should be all right. This has got a coating on it, so I'm hoping it's going to be all right, but we'll see. So the first one that goes on is one of these very thin frames, and it goes on at an angle. So that kind of sets the tone for the whole thing. So I want some glue on this, not masses though, because I don't want it sort of splodging out the sides. It's not a good day to have the shakes particularly.
Jean says you work so hard to prepare for these lives.
I do actually, Jean. I can't tell a lie. If you saw all the things that I do that end up not working. So this goes at an angle. That's the first bit. I'm just going to pat that down. I don't really want the glue. Oh, look, the glue is oozing out, so
It'll dry clear.
It will dry clear. I'm just going to take a wet wipe to it and assist it to dry clear by removing it. So there we are, that's the first bit on it, a bit of a kilter. Second one goes on straight. So, and there is a right and a wrong side to these, I found when I was colouring them. You know, the same with any dies, they've got a bit of sort of bevel to them. So there is a sort of channel for you to put your glue in, but it's so microscopically little. So what are everybody talking about today?
They're saying they're really looking forward to seeing the collaborative pages.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea that we show them the pages first, because you don't get the full effect when they're made up.
No, you don't.
You don't get to see everybody's work really close up. So we'll be doing that. I put, you do work hard, but who was it was cranking all morning? I asked myself.
Yeah, Mr. Fix-It did a lot of cutting out of these dies. I really have to say he did. He was champion cranker this morning.
You know, people appreciate the amount of work that you put in.
Well, thank you. It's good to know. Thank you very much. So I've got this one, but I just need to make sure in my head where it's going to go before I put the glue on it. It seems to be level with the top there, then come down like that. I'm not sure. I think it must be like that.
That's about right.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It really matters.
I don't think it really matters, but I want to get this one built like Sizzix tells you to build it, so as you at home can go ahead and do it with some confidence, because we've had several goes this morning.
Do you decorate it afterwards then, do you?
I'm not decorating the white frame.
Ah, right. Just checking.
Yeah, if you wanted to decorate the white frame, you know, paint it, colour it, whatever, obviously do it first, because it's going to be virtually impossible once you've got it on there. But I wanted to leave the frame white. As I say, I painted one this morning black because I thought I was going to use white paper, but I'm going to leave this white. I think it'll be easier for you to see. So I think that goes down. Oh, I don't know.
Of course, the easiest thing to do is to paint the paper first and then cut it out, rather than try and paint it after it's cut out.
On the frames?
Yeah.
I'll use coloured paper, of course.
Yeah, because they're quite thin, aren't they?
They're very thin. Right, so that's that, and I think that's pretty much what Sizzix had in mind. The angles might be slightly off, I don't know, but I think that's pretty much what they were thinking. So there's 3 frames in total there. The 2 rectangle ones which are offset, and then the hexagon one, which is fairly square really. Right, so in here on this lid are all the component parts that we need. So let's build it first and then we'll colour it. So let me get rid of these frame bits because they're just going to get caught on everything. I'll need them for the second one. Right, so the first thing I'm going to need are some large flowers, and the flowers come in 2 sizes. They come in this size and this size. So for the one that goes here I need 2 of these. It's absolutely hammering down outside.
It is.
So I need 2 of these, and they eventually when you put them on they get slightly offset, so they just look more flowery-fied. And that goes kind of there, but there in fact, possibly, maybe a bit lower. And then the one underneath it, that's a smaller one I think, yeah. So, cat hairs. 2 of these again. I think it's possible that Sizzix have used 3, but by the time we got to this stage, we'd absolutely had enough. We'd had enough of cutting out flowers. So I think you'll get the general gist from this anyway. So those 2 there are offset. We'll colour all these before we stick them down. Then there's one of these leaves. Stick with me because it is really nice once it's done. And then there's one of these ones. And these little leaves, I mean, they could come in for anything. You don't have to just use them for this. They're really useful leaves, those ones. How excited can one person sound about some leaves? But it's true. And that goes there. Then down here we've got this one, this little fellow. Goes something like that. And a sort of lobular one, that one, which goes there, sort of. And then down here we've got one of these and one of these. So you see, you do need to cut the pieces out more than once. But I haven't added up how many times. I think that's the right one for there. And then this one, which comes out here. So that's I mean, it's really pretty, isn't it? It's kind of worth doing, I think. The whole thing needs to be shunted that way a bit when I come to stick it down. So yeah, kind of like that. I think getting the flowers in the right place is the crux of the matter. And then there's another one up here which is a small one.
Middles as well.
Oh yeah, there's middles as well. Middle for diddles. Each of these flowers has got a centre that goes on, which also has got to be cut out, obviously more than once. So that's the centres. So then it's just literally this one here, and it's a small one which we need 2 of. And once again, I think it looks like Sizzix have used 3 together, but I think 2 is going to be sufficient. And it's this one that goes in there.
People say they're all concentrating with you.
I know. It's like that, isn't it? Wait till we get glue involved. Oh my goodness. And that goes in there, and then there's this little, oh, just knocked the paper, this little lobified one.
See if I can get zoomed in a little maybe.
That comes down into there.
then they can really concentrate with you.
So that's kind of that, and then there's this big one.
It's quick.
That comes out the bottom there. Kind of like that. Right, so that's the overall general gist of things. This belongs to another die set, so I don't know what that's doing in there, just to confuse the issue. And that's pretty much it. What I've got left should hopefully build the other one, this one. But we might just have had enough by then. But it looks nice, doesn't it? It looks like it's got potential. And don't forget, you could do this in white. You could do it in black and white, which would look nice.
In the middle for that one on the right. You don't put a middle in it.
For the little one.
There's one in the groove of where you are. That's it. Just to be pedantic.
So there we are, right. So now it's just a minor matter of colouring them in and sticking them down. So, try not to sneeze or breathe too loud. I'm just going to use the kitchen towel like I did yesterday. And I know it's not the easiest of things for you to see. I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to see if I can find some other greens.
You could use a white bit of paper if you wanted.
Yeah, a sheet of white paper would be better. Yeah. I'm sure I've got some here. That's Mr. F kicking. Yeah, I've got some. I've got this piece.
I'll just get a piece.
Okay.
Just
he knows, he's just spending money willy-nilly. New pieces of paper. Thank you.
Better.
I think so. Right, so shall we start, do you think, with the leaves?
Let's put the camera
because they're the ones. Because they're the ones that are on the bottom, aren't they? So yeah, let's start with the leaves. So there's this one here, and they've made theirs a sort of eucalyptus colour, but I don't think I've got a eucalyptusy sort of colour. That one's not too bad actually. Let's go with that. I'm always trying to get the ends to go on there. I'm going to need a darker version of this as well for highlights. I might have one. For shadows, I meant to say, not highlights. You can colour yours with whatever takes your fancy. Crayons, paints, distress crayons, ink tens, any colouring medium you can think of. Your shimmer watercolours, Mabel, would be lovely. Possibly what I would be using. Actually, that's quite a nice colour. It's got red splots on from where we were splattering. Let's have a look at the greens that I've got here. That one. What about that one? It says turquoise. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think that's possibly okay. So I'm just going to go just try and create a bit of a shadow on these. If you get bored with this and you want to go and do something much more exciting, I completely understand.
Thank you.
Not you. You're integral. So just go over it again, just to blend that second colour in. Personally, I find this sort of thing cathartic, therapeutic, whatever. I like doing it a lot. I'm not sure it's a spectator sport though, so as I say, I completely understand if you want to amble off somewhere.
Leslie M says that we didn't have a fan running or a window open with a breeze. And Maureen says she'd been holding her breath. Didn't want to breathe on them and disturb them.
I know. Oh goodness, I know what you mean.
And Ross says she cut something similar on a cricket.
Right.
But joined the shapes together, so it just cut it out all as one.
Oh, sensible, isn't it? This is what we've got back in the Dark Ages. So that goes in there. And the other leaf that goes up the back is this one. So let's see if we can get those coloured and in place. Don't know why I'm turning that over. This is a real greeny green. Like greens aren't. Wonder if that's a bit too greeny. I love these sort of colours, these chartreuse colours, as you know. No, I'm going to use this. What the heck, eh? You only live once. It's quite nice green, isn't it? I have no idea what colour I'm going to make the flowers yet. That's a big decision yet to be taken. I just thought this morning that I had this dye and I've never ever used it, because I kind of took one look at it, saw that there was a million parts to it and thought, no. And I thought, I bet other people have too. I bet they've got it, and had a look at it, maybe even cut it out, and thought, blimey, this is a bit complex. So I thought I'd just take the bull by the horns and see if we couldn't make it up and get it into something that we probably could use in a journal, which is the overall idea. I'm just going to take this darker one, just go around a little bit, just to add a little bit of depth to it. You don't need to do all this faffing around if you don't want to. I can see you looking at the clock thinking, oh my goodness, how long is this going to take? Forever is the response. Oh, seem to have ended up with a central bit. So you all right and keeping well, I hope. Keeping out of the way of this dreadful virus. I'm going to leave those two and those two over there because they're the ones I've used. So for a bit of continuity I might need to use them again. So that goes there. So
it's not on the camera that bit.
Well, I'm going to bring it.
Zoom in one bit.
I'm going to bring it down, and we're going to stick them there. I'm going to move everything else away. Breathe, Maureen. It's a good time now. I'm going to stick them there. How come I'm always doing things like this where you're having to really concentrate? I used to do things that were light and lively and funny. You don't need to concentrate when you're putting glue on. It's just... So I'm hoping that this came from somewhere like this. That's the plan. That's the hope. Too much glue. Bear that in mind. Too much glue is not a good thing. This black paper, as I say, it's got some sort of coating on and it's not absorbing the glue. So I'm just going to use a little bit less, I think is the answer. So looking at my picture, it seems to go like that. Well, that's how ours goes now. Oh, got so little glue on there, it's not sticking. It's got like a massive amount. Right, okay. We've done it. We've got the first things down. So the next thing, do you think the next thing should be the flowers? And I can just sort of pick them up and tuck those under them. Because I'm going to have to be a very good guesser otherwise. That's going to go there. That's going to go there. I'll leave those there and I'll colour these in.
The one goes on first because the big one's over the top of it.
Yeah. you're right. So there's that one and that one that I need to colour, and they sort of get tucked in there. And they're a sort of darker green, both of these. Both a similar colour. Let's see what this is. Yeah, that's a nice proper green. Alright, Mr. F.
Yes, I'm just going to go and put the kettle on, I think.
Okay. Good idea. So that's that one. It doesn't really need any shade in it. I mean, it's so small. And then this one, which looks like it's the same colour to me in the picture. If you were using a sponge, you'd have this done in no time. Not sure Pat Fleet's with us today. I haven't seen her name. She's done ever so well with her ephemera folder. It was all her idea. Genius idea. So I'm not really going to put too much on the actual leaves, just down the stem. And it kind of comes in here. You can just see that corner of that frame. Perhaps I should have put some on the leaves. I'm not convinced that wants to stick. I think I need to put more glue than just down the spine. So by the picture it looks like it comes there. I'll just tap that into what I think is its place. And then we've got this one. It's fun, isn't it? Think of all the hours of fun you can have doing this. And when you come to sell your journal, please charge accordingly. So this one seems to come sort of there. Right, I'm quite happy that they are pretty much in the right place. I'm just maybe going to have to move the flowers around to get them perfect. So let's just do a mock-up once again. That's one flower there. This is the other flower, which, as Mr. F pointed out, goes underneath. So that goes kind of there. Yeah, we're looking all right. So it's just these two then now. Our two centres. Getting ever nearer having to choose a colour. So these two, this one looks like it's... I'm going to use these greens again, otherwise we're going to be out of balance. So I'm going to do this one in this light green. Thanks, my love. It's nice of you.
Welcome. Thought just what you needed was some caffeine with all that
shaking
and close in work. Let's get you hamped up on some caffeine. Add to the excitement.
Amped up, yeah. So it looks like that goes there. And then that, yeah, okay, let's stick that one down then. I'm getting a crick in my neck. So it goes kind of there, I would say. Oh, well, there where I had it was perfect. Is Pat Fleet on, Mr.
Yes.
Ah.
She's here watching, but she's crafting at the same time.
Oh. Not commanding a full attention, you see. I just think doing this colour is just balancing up with that colour at the top. Otherwise those would just begin to look a bit gaudy and not quite right. They might still look gaudy. If I was doing it again, maybe I'd choose different colours, I don't know. Quite like this colour, sort of minty colour. It's more sort of like eucalyptus, but the leaves aren't eucalyptus. So I shall spare you going down there putting highlights in, because I appreciate I'm probably at the edge of your limits here.
Pat says, "Oh yes, you are. I'm enjoying watching this. Kiss, kiss."
Oh.
Some people are saying they use something called a Zygron.
Ooh, what's that?
It's like a sticker maker. I think you get like double-sided tape on a thing, and you put your fussy cuts in, and it applies stuff to the back of them. I've come across them, but I've never bought it under your gaze.
No. Right, so that's going to go there, and that's going to go there, and somehow, miraculously, I think we've kind of got it something like right. So the choice is, now, what colour are we going to make the flowers? I mean, shall we make them red in keeping with what else we've been doing today? I don't know. I do not know. I'm bottling out, and I'm going to do the other one. Please, can you suggest what colour you'd like to see the flowers? Please. Florence has done well to get on because she's got family this weekend. She said she wouldn't be around this weekend. He's obviously managed to do something with them. Shut them in the cupboard. So that's that one done.
Jen says lavender, Samantha C says hot pink.
Oh, right.
And Ross Peel says time for a little break, Fiona, don't hurt your neck.
I know it's cramping up. It's old age. So this is kind of just a greeny colour.
It's the weight of your head.
I know my head is too heavy. I've got a heavy head, but not a heavy heart. That's the important thing, isn't it?
Yes. John Ann says pink. Ilda says pink shades. Mabel says bright orange.
Mabel, you rebel.
And Kerry Bett says I like them white on the black.
Yeah, I do, Kerry. That's my problem. Kerry, when she used to message me, she used to always put flower emoji things, you know, at the end of her messages. And I loved it so much that now I do it all the time. Especially when I'm contacting Kerry. But generally all the time, anyway. Right, so these two pieces, this and this. Oh, and there's another piece as well. God blimey.
Maureen says yellow.
And this piece is that sort of mint green as well, but I don't really want to do it mint green. I'm going to do it this colour. Have any of you got this dye out of interest? Or any of you going to purchase this dye?
I think Kerry says she saw it. I think it was Kerry said she saw it in the store but left it because it looked too...
Yeah, it's pretty time consuming, isn't it?
Fiddly.
Yeah. But I'm thinking when it's put together, it's very, very pretty.
Ross says how about shading the petal part and colour the middle of a flower?
Shading. Shading on the outside.
I presume so.
And leaving the middle white and then colour the centre.
I presume so.
Good idea, Ross.
Sort of a gradient.
Yes. Right, I'm going to make an attempt. Well, you know what? I might as well just colour that as well, actually, while I'm there, hadn't I? For heaven's sake. Come on.
Cindy Phillips says, orange sounds great. She's just ordered the dye on Amazon.
Have you? Best of luck, my dear.
Miranda says mauve.
Mauve, yes.
And Jean says, how about a bouquet of colours?
Jean and Hilda, no, Jean and Mabel, you've got the most outlandish view of the day. Congratulations. You win the Outlandish Cup.
Bright orange in the bouquet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The rest, yeah, really nice. I like Rosa's idea with the shading on the edges going into white in the middle and then the actual central part being coloured. That's a good idea, that, Ros.
I quite like Jean's idea if there were different flowers.
Yeah,
then
yeah.
you could have more of a bouquet.
Yeah.
But when they're effectively the same flower.
Yeah. I haven't done any shading on these, so they're, they could be better, people, is all I'm saying. They could be better. Try harder next time. So I'm going to mock up my flower, which is going to go there, I think. And the first one that goes in is this fella. This fella, me lad. I think that's probably a very British thing to say. Do you? Can you imagine anybody else saying that sort of stupidity?
I can't actually imagine anybody other than you saying it, to be honest.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. It's cricket day today. Cricket day yesterday as well.
Which we have on pause.
Which we have on pause, yes. It's been on in the background this morning while I've been doing things that I haven't worked out. The air has been a trifle blue at times. Right, so that needs to go in there. And that kind of goes up at that kind of angle. I'm getting the hang of the amount of glue now, I think, finally. Right, so the next one is... I was going to say the green one. Don't be stupid. They're all green. You know what, guys? Really, realistically, I'm liking this.
Samantha C. So she says she's going to a bookmaking class today.
Oh, lovely.
She's nervous because she's heard that all the other ladies are pros.
Oh, that's just nonsense. Just laugh a lot.
Yeah.
Everybody who's a pro will love taking you under their wings and showing you. Everybody likes doing that. So don't be nervous. And I hope you get on really well and I hope you enjoy it loads. And then I hope you come back and you do a video for us. That would be ideal, wouldn't it?
That would be perfect.
Does anybody at all fancy doing a video for us? Can be on any... Well, when I say anything, it's got to be junk journal related, please, people. But if you fancy doing a video on something, so Mabel, I know that you're an artist, and Hilda too. So,
and I can forward my list of rules that you've given me
of things not to talk about,
things not to do.
It's a long list.
Don't
isn't
be rude. Don't swear. Always go for a wee before you go out. that sort of thing.
Make sure you've got your watch, your wallet and your phone.
Indeed.
We go through that every time
Yeah.
at the front door. Have you got your watch, your wallet and your phone?
Yeah.
Then you'll get in the car and you go, oh.
Nudity is not acceptable.
No. And you sail very near the wind with some of the things you say. Can I just say that to you? Very close to the wind sometimes. Doesn't he, ladies? Does he upset you with his, what should we call it?
Jibing. Because that's what you do with the wind, you see.
Crudeness.
Crude? That's a little harsh.
It is a little harsh. I couldn't think of the right word. Right, I think this is our last leaf. And I think it goes about there. So this doesn't have a whole lot of artistic input. I'm literally doing what Sizzix have told me to do. But I wanted to make sure that if you had this dye at home, you could use it. I was curious myself because I had the dye. I wanted to know what it would look like. So we've just got the flowers, and I'm thinking that I'm going to try Rosa's approach. And I think if you're doing it on black paper, you're going to have to be careful for the glue because it wants to show up. I'm going to try.
People say they wouldn't change me.
Would not change him one little bit. And Jeannie doesn't offend me. Carrie, honestly, Mr. F, you've got a bit of a fan club going. Don't let your head get too big, will you? Right, I'm going to go for, what have I got here? I have both lavender and pink. So that's a bit, I might go lavender. I'm feeling lavender. Feeling lavenderish. What else? Is that a lavender? Maroon, that's called. That's all the sort of lavendery ones. Any lavendery stuff up here? Oh, that's a nice colour. Let's just have a look then at the colours available to us. I'll get a bit of paper back. So I've got this one, quite pale, quite nice, might do for more of the inside. This one, which is a divine colour, violet. It's quite bluey, but it's really nice. This one, amethyst. That would match up with that one. Is that it? This one, which is maroon. Might be the wrong family. Yeah, that's the wrong family. And put that away. So I could have these two, which look like they're the same kind of family to me. So let's do that then, shall we? Yikes. Not forgetting that we've got a little central part. Excuse me. As well to deal with. So I'm just going to use the darker of the shades. Excuse me, let's have a drink of my coffee. That's what's required.
At this point, I'd also say that there is another little dye that comes with the set that cuts out very little dots.
Oh yeah, there is, that's right.
That
you're supposed to put 3 each on that central bit.
But they're so tiny.
They're so tiny, it's not happening.
It's just silly.
So I'm just going to go around the edge here. And let's remember, if it's a total disaster, I can turn it over.
Samantha C says she's got a cuttle bug, thinking of upgrading to Big Shot. Biggest one they have. A cuttle bug is a smaller version. There's the smallest version of the Big Shot.
Oh, right.
Like ours, our little one.
Our little one.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I think you can get most things through that. To be honest, we discussed this yesterday, didn't we?
Yeah, though, of course, you can always cut a small thing in a big one, but you can't cut a big thing in a small one.
Well, that's true. But you know,
but they are expensive.
They are expensive. And you know, is it necessary expense? To me, yeah, it was, because I cut a lot of dies.
And of course, on the really big one, of course, you can get A4 embossing folders.
Yeah.
So you can do a complete page of A4.
Which I found really useful for my file folder journal.
Exactly.
Lynn, I see you've got a video on a file folder and I'm dying to look at it. I just didn't have time. I'm really looking forward to looking that up.
Jean's got to go.
Oh, Jean.
We've run out of her time.
Oh, no. Well, it was nice of you to join us anyway, and see you next week, hopefully. Right, I'm going to use the fat end of this. Yeah, it's quite fat. And just see if I can drag that colour in a little bit from the outside in. It's much quicker with the fat one, isn't it? So I'm going from the outside in. I'm not sure it's having any great effect about moving that outside colour, but it is giving us a slightly uneven look to it, which I like. And I do like that idea, Roz. I probably haven't executed it as well as you had in your mind, but it's nice. I like it. So I'm just going to go around this one, quick as you like. Well, maybe not quite as quick as you would like. So I think once we've established how Sizzix thinks that we should be putting this together, there's probably potential for us to take all of these pieces, now we're familiar with them, apart and make things that aren't this exact thing. Because to be honest, it perhaps looks to me a bit too much like something you'd put on a card. And we don't make cards, we make junk journals. So it maybe needs just a bit of thinking about changing it round a bit. Although I do like it a lot. And I'm using the fat end, aren't I?
Kerry's got to go.
Oh, don't blame you, Kerry. You must be exhausted. Thanks for joining us. So appreciated your company. Thanks, girl.
Night night.
Night night. I can imagine if you're tired, watching somebody colouring in is just like send you off to sleep, no problem. So the question is, shall I make the inside just a dark purple or make it yellow? That's the next question for you people. Oops, so easy. Let's put these on and see what they look like, shall we? Getting exciting. So they sort of overlap a little bit like that. And they're going to go there. Come out. And there. That one goes underneath this one, like so. So yeah, I think they look quite nice actually. So the question is the colour of the centre. Yellow or deep purple. And in the interim, I'm going to stick these on. Oh, I couldn't have turned them over. Look, the colour came all the way through. I think it's the big one that does that, the thick one. These don't actually spin 90 degrees and sit nicely. They you'll see if you have them, they don't really sit on top of each other that easily. Good choice, Rod. with your gradient, I think. Has anybody said whether they want it dark or yellow?
Lynn Whitman said yellow, Maureen said yellow, Mabel said yellow.
Do me.
Shaz says yellow.
Oh, full house, really.
And Leslie M said light brown with darker spots.
Well, I'll do yellow with darker spots, Leslie, and then we'll all be happy. So there we are. So it's just these two centres. Get my yellows out. And that one, and that one.
And of course, if you have more time, you could really go to town and get your fine liners out. And
yeah, like I did with the butterfly.
Yeah, put veining in and all sorts.
Yeah, you absolutely could.
But I think that would test even those most loyal followers.
It would test
patience.
my patience when it comes to dinner time and I'm still fine lining. I'm just going to do all three while I'm here.
And of course, you could do what some of our group members have done before and cut them out of magazine pages.
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff, so they're pre-coloured, as it were.
Book pages. It's one of my favourite things, actually, die cuts with book pages. I love them. So I'm just going to put a little bit of this darker yellow. Saw me do it yesterday.
Oh
dear.
With tiddlywinks.
Just round one side. that so wants to be on the other side. Oh dear me.
It's static.
No, it's my nail clicking it off the side. I'm holding it with just the edge of my nail. And it's just coming down. And a little bit of orange. Just a little bit. Just to give it some, so it looks like it's darker on one side. So there we are. And stick them on. You need tweezers for this.
Pick-up tool may work.
Yeah, you need tweezers, guys, or pick-up tool or something. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue in the centre. Try and get that in the middle.
Just turn you off for a second so they can see, because you're just right in that corner.
Does that look central? I think so. And then this one, bit of glue on the back.
Mabel says, yee, orange.
Yeah, orange, Mabel.
Orange obsessed.
If we had Nathania, I could understand it, because she's Dutch.
That's true.
So there we are. You've got your orange, Mabel. Leslie, you've got a bit of sort of yellowy browniness going on. I think that's looking all right, you know. It's looking better than it has a right to be, I think. Oh, let me just have a drink of coffee for a minute.
It's amazing how it changes as it goes on, you know.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
How things
evolves. Right, so we've got these two to colour. And we're nearly there, guys. Nearly. I'm going to colour them the same because I think it would look daft if they were a different colour. That's me. That's just what I think. If you want to colour them sky blue pink with yellow dots on and you think it looks good, then it looks good.
Ross says you've got so much patience. And she says all those little bits would do my head in.
Really? That's funny, Roz. Having looked at how beautiful your page is for the collaborative journal, I would have thought that you'd have had infinite patience.
Well, that's the thing to bear in mind as well, there's no rush.
Yeah, there's no rush. Well, there is. I always feel when I'm doing a live that there's a bit of a rush because you've only got a certain attention span, and I'm going to feel a right Charlie sitting here myself. But if you're doing it at home, I mean, Helen, for one, I don't know who else said that they were going to get the colouring pencils out or whatever. No, I think she was doing water brushes. And she's going to sit in front of the telly and do them last night, which was my intention too, but it never happened. But then there really is no rush, is there? You just sit there, you do it.
I know, I've never really understood of those crafting channels on the TV. And you buy papers and to make up certain cards.
Yeah.
And they make like it's a big selling point in the fact you can do it so quick.
Yeah,
and
I know.
I always think, what's the point?
Yeah, surely the point is taking time in the doing.
I know.
So, let's stick this one on. Right, so I can literally take no credit whatsoever for this today. Let me just move that down.
Kerry was wondering what you're going to use it for once it's complete, like.
Well, it's such a good question. I think that if I had, like the lilac journal that I've just made, that if you cut that out, made a frame around it in, say, light green or white even, sewed around the black, that you would have quite a nice like tag to stick behind a belly band. Can you see where I'm coming from? So it'd be, it'd be a journaling card ostensibly. Just a mighty fancy one. I think it would look all right. I think you'd have to do something with it, sort of mat it onto another colour.
I think it might look quite nice if you got a scalpel and cut out that centre section and put it over one of those acetates with the dried flowers in. I think
that would look nice. That's a good idea. So just drop this into the middle. I shall do something with it in the week and I'll post it on the group, what I've done, so you can see that it's been put to some use somewhere. So there we go, guys. What do you think? Do you think it was worth all the colouring and grief? Looked nice in the white to start with, I must say. I did quite like that. I don't like the way the glue's showing on the page. Maybe it'll come off.
Mabel says it'd make a very nice cover for a little notebook.
Yeah, it would actually, Mabel. I was thinking of a journal cover and then I thought, it's not really big enough for that.
And she said it would make a good cover if you added letters to spell out journal, perhaps in the middle.
Yeah, good idea. Is that Mabel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I suppose basically you use it to frame anything, couldn't you, really?
Yeah.
A photograph or anything, I guess.
Yeah, it would look nice with a section cut out and like a dried purple flower behind it. That would look nice. But I do think you could get away with that simply being either a journal card tucked behind a belly band, or you could make a little notebook, as Mabel says, out of it for insertion in a journal. That would be nice. Or if you were making a journal that's kind of that size, it's quite nice cover, really. It's quite showy, quite blousy.
Pat Fleet says it's beautiful, I want it. Pauline Charlesworth says it's really, really lovely.
I think it's interesting to see how it's turned out, because I bet you loads of people, like, I can't remember who it was now, that said they'd seen it in the shop and just walked past it.
Kerry, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah, I must admit, I was a bit the same. Is it ever going to be worth all the grief, all the cutting, and you've got to double cut parts and whatever? But looking at it, I think it is. That's what I think. I think it is. I think it would look good on white as well if you made the frames black. Of course, the world's your oyster when it comes to colouring your flowers. You can do them anything. I like Roz's idea of having it darker coming into lighter. It could have probably benefited from being lighter again in the centre. That's all little things to bear in mind for next time, really.
Jen says you could use it as a frame for your next live invitation.
Jen, you know what? You're just a genius, girl.
Speaking of which, of course, I could scan it in and use it on one of my digital pages.
I bet you couldn't. I bet there's a copyright somewhere that says you can't.
Well, I can't use it if I was going to sell it, but it's for personal use.
Oh, yeah, for personal use, I'm sure you could.
Obviously not to sell.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, there you go, guys and girls. Frankly, I've really enjoyed this. I did kind of want to get back to these ones and play with them a little bit more, but we didn't. This one that I did this morning, I really quite like. I'm going to keep that one. I can see me using that. This one, it needs a bit of help because there's a lot of bleed through on that, but potential there, definitely potential. And this one, it looks like Remembrance Sunday, doesn't it? But once again, I love that background. I love the way that you can take it through from just, white gesso, and you end up with something like this that you can really build on and make something nice with. So I think I'm going to have to love you and leave you. We will be popping up at some stage during the week because we've got the little golden book to start, and we've got the collaborative journal to start going through the pages of that with you. I think you'll be surprised at some of the skill that's out there. It's been lovely receiving them all, and I'll be delighted to show them all to you in the form of videos. We'll do sort of 3 or 4 pages per video, so you're not sitting there thinking, oh, another page. Just watch them as you can, but I'm sure you'll be interested in them. So there we go, guys. I don't know what Mr. Fix-It's doing. He's doing some drawing of something.
I'll be with you in a second.
He'll be with me in a second. So heaven knows what he's up to. Of course, we've got the other one of these that we could build, and that is much more usable, I would say, that sort of size. That would definitely be a tag. I might build that actually after I've finished here. Because I'm a glutton for punishment, and the cricket's on anyway, so. Yeah.
Little Posca.
Yeah. Can you pass that over, please? Yeah, you can see that it's got potential there. Draw a little line around there. And you can see that it's kind of got potential. It's not right, it's just not right. So I could never use that, but that's what happened. It bled out. So be careful. Bled through. It didn't bleed out. It's not a human on Dexter. So just be careful when you're doing it that you don't overload your sponge. Thanks, my dear. Give you your Posca back.
Thank you.
And I shall see you in the week. See you next weekend. If you want to join the group, it is called Miss Paintalot's Junk Journal Group. We'd be very happy to see you there. Great bunch of people. If you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, that would be fantastic. I'm trying to climb up to 1,000, so it would be really good if you could subscribe to the channel, please.
Me on Tuesday?
Oh yes, I've got Mr. Fix-It on Tuesday, who's doing more of the digital. What do you call it? Digital
papers, I guess.
Digital
manipulation.
Manipulation's the word I'm looking for. And this one coming up on Tuesday, you do not want to miss. It's absolutely ace. It's genius. I love it. So try, if you possibly can, to watch that live on Tuesday. Of course, it'll be on YouTube after that. You watch it when you like. But he's always worth a laugh. And I shall see you when I see you. Thanks for watching, mate. As always, you're great. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.